Morgan.
And I'm Jake, and this is
Neverland Navigation Radio,
where we discuss all types of transportation updates rolling out across Walt Disney World.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it or not.
And spoiler alert,
we don't.
Not. We're going to get into all of the updates and how they might impact your goings about Walt Disney World.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into these latest controversial changes, we want to thank you so much for joining us for the show. If you would like to help support us, keep talking Disney, then you can do that by subscribing and by leaving us a review so that we become more discoverable as a podcast.
Yes, and if you are thinking about taking a Disney trip or a Universal trip or a cruise, please consider letting me be your free-to-you travel agent. You don't pay me a dime. I get you the same deal as you could get yourself by hunting for weeks for the best deal or better. Sometimes I beat what you can even find out there.
Mm-hmm.
And so you pay the same as you would or better, and you don't pay me at all, but you get travel agent services. Plus you get free gifts. I give my clients free gifts as a thank you because I get paid commission from wherever you're going, even though they don't charge you more. It's kind of a secret, sneaky thing, you know?
It's a hack, yeah.
It's like a hack, yeah. You get a personal travel agent, and you don't have to pay for it. It's awesome.
Win-win.
Yeah, my email is morgan@neverlandnavigation.com.
Book now. Speaking of the logistics of trip planning, this may
affect your trip.
Yeah. Obviously, the Disney transportation system is constantly evolving. We got something new recently with the Skyliner.
Mm-hmm.
But also the rules are always changing.
Yeah.
This is the latest rollout of updates to the transportation policy. They pertain to Disney Springs and the bus loop that connects guests from Disney Springs to the resorts and theme parks.
Mm-hmm.
A new phase of transportation has been introduced that involves screening guests prior to boarding a bus or boat from Disney Springs, requiring them to produce either a reservation.
Yeah, you have to prove you're either staying at the hotel.
Yes.
Or you're eating at the hotel.
Yep, reservation.
Or you're doing something like Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. Is that what that extras is entailing? Is that it?
Yes.
I'm sure there's other things I'm not thinking of.
Anything that qualifies as an enchanted extra.
Yeah.
Which I think is actually something that changes periodically as well. But yeah, that is a good example of one. Those also qualify to get you onto the bus. And it is only the one screening checkpoint. It is not at multiple stops. So it is only from Disney Springs. Once you get on a bus from Disney Springs and go somewhere, you're free to transfer to another bus if you'd like. The bus route is open from there. It's only closed from Disney Springs. And we know that this is being done as an attempt to mitigate attempts from guests to circumvent paid parking.
Right.
By parking at Disney Springs and then taking the free Disney transportation bus to the theme park.
Right. And so it is important to mention why they're doing it because it's a legitimate business concern and we understand that. I think that there are I was never telling people, hey, you can go swim at the Grand Floridian for free by doing, right? Like, we never said that that's a good idea. That's not.
I wasn't supposed to tell people that?
So, anyway, since that's
right.
not something that we've condoned.
Of course not.
Yeah. That part doesn't bother me as much. I'll tell you what does bother me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jake and I love going to get beignets at Port Orleans and taking their cute little boat that is like slow moving and just relaxing and nice.
And if you do it, you'll love it too, because it's a great time.
And now we can't do that anymore. And without like getting a restaurant reservation or staying the night, and that bums me out.
We're gonna have to pretend we want to eat at the Boathouse.
Boathouse has gotten better since our bad review.
Oh, okay, great.
Yes, we reviewed the boat rights,
you're right.
But not Boathouse. Boat rights.
Wow,
at
I was
Port
wrong.
Orleans.
I was double
You were
wrong.
boat wrong.
I was wrong on boat counts.
Yeah. We did a scathing review of boat rights where Jake said that they were boat wrong. Like years and years ago.
And at the time it was.
And it has gotten better. I've been there a few times because they rolled out a 40% off for pass holders in certain times. And it was for their least popular restaurants, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
And I will say their prime rib with the blackening spice is quite good.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. See, this is a great example of us willing to allow grace to, the places that have maybe done bad on one occasion. We have worked in enough restaurants.
Yeah.
To know that is something that happens, and we're always willing to go back and give it another swing.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and we're always hopeful that they're going to get better.
100%.
I just, like, there are some that now I've tried so many times being hopeful that I've pretty much given up, like Crystal Palace and Coral Reef. But
right, you can only beat the dead horse so many times.
Yeah, but if somebody told me in a couple years, hey, it's gotten better, I'll be like, all right, I'll go try
Mia,
it.
Here we go again.
Yeah, you better be right, because that's an expensive.
That's a gamble for real. That's a gamble.
Yeah, less so on boat rides, but yeah. So being able to go from Disney Springs to go grab a beignet was a very happy memory that we share, and I am very bummed out that I won't be able to do that anymore.
Yes, I definitely do understand the business concern of charging an exorbitant fee to park, and then people not wanting to pay that.
But I don't.
And then taking the free transportation that is less convenient but is free in order to access the park. To remove that option is directly harming people who could use that leeway.
I'm surprised that this was such an issue.
Me too. I don't think it is an issue.
I know. You have to be pretty desperate, like money-wise, to pay for a park ticket, but not be able to afford parking, and then to go... Not be able to afford, but not want to afford parking to the extent that you're willing to get up extra early and go park at Disney Springs and wait for a bus.
How much is vehicle parking now at Disney?
At a park. I'm not sure because I haven't had to pay it in so long. And as your friendly neighborhood travel agent, I will say this is going to make. I mean, if I were coming from out of state, this would make 35
per day.
This would make me want to stay at a resort more.
Yeah, I think that's the point.
And maybe that's the point.
It is.
Yeah, they don't want you as much staying at like the Holiday Inn and then parking at Disney Springs for free and then taking the bus over. And I have always been more of a fan of staying at a value resort on Disney property anyway.
Yep.
So, because they're generally not that much more expensive than a not good hotel that you're going to find close to property.
Walt Disney envisioned a future where transportation was not only accessible to everyone, but also built into a network that allowed people to get to the places that they wanted to go, enjoy the ride, and be inspired by their surroundings to commute. Mm-hmm. Walt Disney had a lot of problems, but he would hate putting free public transportation behind a paywall. And I hate putting free public transportation behind a paywall.
Yeah.
And I think that Walt Disney World being interconnected is magical. Beyond this issue of free people or free parking and circumventing that, I agree that if you want to charge parking, first of all, $35 is outrageous, and I would love to circumvent that as well. However, I also acknowledge that, like, if you're drawing that hard line that you're going to pay for parking, then that's fine. But we also, at the same time, have to acknowledge that is removing a little bit of the fantasy, fun, magical, interconnected dynamic of traveling by boat, by monorail, by bus, wherever you need to go to get wherever you need to go to have the most magical day you can have.
Yeah.
And it's all included because this is the most magical place on earth.
Right.
Disney, that is what makes the Disney experience so effective for all of us. Now, all of that being said, obviously we personally are not big fans of these changes, but we do understand where they're coming from. And I will say, we don't know that this will be a permanent change. As of right now, it is.
It is, yeah, but I bet it won't be. Yeah. Doesn't this feel like the most Chapek thing that's ever happened?
This feels very tight-fisted.
This feels the same as them adding paid parking to the resorts, right, which was what, like
COVID
6
era.
years ago? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then that got taken away because people were upset about it.
Outraged.
Yes. And here's the thing. I think parking prices in general across the board are out of control.
Agreed.
Not Disney singularly, everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, we got passes to Universal, was it last year or the year, 2 years ago?
2 years ago. Summer passes.
And not just summer though. We went for did half year passes.
Yeah, it was half year.
Yeah. Seasonal passes is what it was called. Yeah. And it was almost hard to justify going sometimes because
the parking was so expensive. Even splitting it, we were like,
yeah,
this is a lot.
It's this, you can't, you know what I mean? Like,
and they're stingy about City Walk parking and stuff.
They
now
are
too.
Yeah, you can't get into City Walk before 6 p.m.
Yep.
Without paying for parking, which isn't just, that's crazy to me.
This is a point well taken. The parking stuff is just it's like a resort fee.
It is.
It's just another way to extract money from your customers. And what are they going to do? They're already there.
What are they going to do?
They're already there.
Right. It seems sneaky. I don't like it. It's gotten so out of hand as far as cost goes.
Right.
I
have empathy for the people who don't want to pay an additional $100 in parking for their vacation.
That's a $100 wouldn't even cover 3 days.
Right.
Yeah. So I do too. I completely get that. I get it across the board. Honestly, it was a big factor in me deciding not to do Universal again. I think we will do Universal at some point.
Yeah.
Universal has different tiers of annual passes, which of course only applies to if you're
a Florida
local and you're going to do an annual pass, but they don't start giving you free parking until like their middle tier. And so now I kind of feel like I wouldn't do an annual pass unless I got that. So I've got to factor that in, where Disney gives it to you at their lowest tier. But it's just, it's confusing. It's the parking situation. Sometimes that's like a hidden thing. People will get to a hotel and not realize they have a $50 parking per night.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Not to mention, in the theme park context, at Magic Kingdom, you're also paying for the worst parking experience at a modern theme park.
Oh yeah. Terrible.
Genuinely bottom tier.
Yeah. Right. So
$35 for that ticket and transportation.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't know.
We're disappointed.
But
we know that these things are in flux. I mean, we haven't had the same CEO for longer than a year for the past 4 years.
Yeah.
So this is a company in constant change right now. This is also a super terrifying time to be a Fortune 500 company and a blue chip stock like Disney with an AI revolution tapping at their door.
Right.
They have a lot of cross-crunching concerns. It's just, to the public, I will tell you this as somebody who's been involved in maintaining a brand image for companies before, not like Disney, just for small businesses, but even I know that when you're in trouble, the last thing you want to do is pick something that feels petty.
Yes.
Because it alienates your customer base when you do that. It seems like you're penny pinching in a way that is careless for the consumer.
Yeah.
It's bad business, and it's bad people as well, unfortunately. We're being kind of mean to the people who don't want to pay $35.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
I don't want to pay $35 to park there.
Right.
Now, listen, annual pass holders are still going to be able to do some resort hopping by parking at the theme park and then taking a bus from the theme park to the resort. So if you are an annual pass holder and you're a local, you're not being totally closed out of the resort hopping experience that is still available to you. It's just not from Disney Springs. So that particular group is actually not...
Arguably, if you actually wanted to resort hop and you weren't trying to come at this from a getting theme park parking for free vantage point, you still might be able to, right? Like if you could, I mean, I guess not. Could you hypothetically park at a resort because you're going in for a dessert or something? Or do we feel like they're cracking down on that?
They are cracking down on that, in that you have to have the reservation at least 24 hours ahead of time or something like that. And then I believe they're also removing same-day cancellation. But, like, I think that's also changing.
What do you mean they're removing same-day cancellation?
So now, because of this, you can't... because you can't... Sorry, I was reading a text message. Because you can't... What was the question?
Whether I could go try to park, let's say, I mean, this, I don't know if that's a good
the
example.
Same day, yes.
Yeah.
I think because of this new thing of them screening for the reservations, they're removing the possibility of you booking something just for...
How are they doing that?
By removing, I believe, same-day cancellation. So, like...
Again.
Yeah. So if you go...
Is that official? Do you know?
No, I don't know. That's just what I was seeing people saying, yeah.
So this was an issue, a few years ago, right?
Yeah.
Where they took away same-day 2-hour cancellation and made it so if you would get penalized if you didn't cancel 2 days in advance. Was that right? Was it 2 days or 1 day?
I think 1 day, 24 hours.
And then people were upset and they changed it back to 2 hours.
Also, I should say, we are recording this on June 29th, and it is literally 1 day into the new procedure here. So this may literally all change anytime. This is brand new.
Yeah.
Now, this has been tested. They did test this at peak times last year, restricting the bus loop.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was reading.
How did they do that without pissing people off?
They put up a ton of signs and told people to deal with it, pretty much. So it is something that they knew was going to work ahead of time. Apparently, I didn't even hear about that when it happened. I'm only learning about it now from other people on the internet. But it is going to be an impactful change. It looks like. I don't really know. I don't really know as far as transportation goes.
As of right now, the cancellation policy is still 2 hours. I'm not suggesting people do this.
Oh, 2 hours. Okay.
Yeah. So that could change, but...
Oh, gosh. Okay, maybe they were saying that they thought that was what was going to happen.
It would kind of have to.
If this is going to make any difference, yeah.
Right, because otherwise they're going to have a ton of same-day cancellations because of people trying to work around this.
And surely they realize that.
This is a sad...
A mess is what it is.
This is a sad topic, yeah.
Yeah, sorry to harp on this, guys. It is important for you to know if you're planning a trip, though. 100%.
It is important to know, yes. And definitely, I suggest this anyway. You should check the price of the cheapest value resort in comparison to the price of, like, the Holiday Inn or whatever you're thinking about doing outside the park. Mm-hmm. Because it's usually not as different as you think it's going to be.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah. So that's that. Yep. You know, I said to Jake, I was like, how are we going to get beignets? I don't even know. I guess at some point we're going to try driving up there and saying, hey, we're here for beignets, and see if they let us in.
Well, the answer to that's going to be no. The only way that we're going to be able to go is to go from a theme park.
Are you sure that the answer is going to be no?
Unless we have a reservation to a restaurant.
Okay, they've let me in the past year.
I know. Well, this is
okay. You think I'm talking about driving up to Port Orleans, not driving.
But even if you drive up to Port Orleans without a reservation, technically the answer is no. Whether a guard lets you slide by or not, I would guess that with a new round of transportation rules coming out,
at least for the first few months, they're not going to be allowed to. Is that what you're thinking?
That we're going to trend toward go away for a little while.
This is the part that blows my mind. You don't want my beignet money?
No, clearly not. We don't want your not resort guest money.
Okay, yeah. I'm shocked about that. I feel like there should be some loopholes. Not loopholes. That makes it sound like
concessions.
Concessions.
This actually is the topic of non-resort guests in the resort actually leads into the second half of our episode, which is about the Grand Floridian Resort and Spa's decision not to bring back their iconic Gingerbread House celebration that they do every year.
They had going for 35 years, right?
From 99.
The weird...
89.
I hate this. I wonder how much it costs.
And that's it.
I hate it.
We're done.
What the heck?
Have a good day.
Yeah, but it's like I'm just mind blown about it, because the last year that they did it, they put out all that merch saying like 35 years of, I don't know, whatever cute thing they said. Mm-hmm. And it was like, oh, they're celebrating 35 years. That's so cute. And then they shut it down for a remodel. And we're like, okay, well, they are remodeling. And now they're like, done, not bringing it back.
She was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so do you think they're going to put something else in?
They are. They've told us. The culinary team at the Grand Floridian are each going to make a display. Like, they're going to make multiple different ginger displays that are Disney themed. Are
we allowed to go see them? I guess by the monorail.
If you got a park reservation, yeah. No, by the monorail, absolutely. By the bus, if you have a park reservation, then if you have a dining reservation, well, you wouldn't want to take a bus from Disney Springs to the Grand Floridian.
So, that wouldn't make any sense.
By the monorail, you still can absolutely see these new gingerbread. You
might if you weren't going to go to the parks that year, mm-hmm. and you just wanted to see the Disney Christmas stuff in the hotels, then you might take a bus from Disney Springs to Grand Flo.
That's true. That's true.
But anyway,
because you might go to Disney Springs.
Yeah. So this is really sad to me. And Jake had said that this was possibly to keep non-resort guests out of the resort, to try to keep it...
Those rooms are very expensive and that lobby's very loud. Mm-hmm. And I wonder if that contrast is wearing thin for people...
For guests that are paying $1,000 a night.
Yeah, if they're going to...
Or more.
Yeah. And we were also saying that everything in there is more than premium priced. Apart from the Grand Floridian Cafe, which we have no idea how that has maintained its existence for as long as it has.
You made the comment that it probably wouldn't last that much longer, and I completely agree. Because when we go, we're like, we can get any reservation we want. They're not busy.
And it's under $30.
It's under $30 a person. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we think this will be going too.
And it's one of my favorites, so it's a weird personal favorite of mine, but I will be personally so sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, everything in there, from Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique, the Enchanted Rose Lounge, the new bar at the atrium, all of these offerings are
ticket
echelon tier.
Yeah.
So I don't think they want to track in other groups of people into their resort.
Okay. And that's hurtful.
A little bit.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, a little bit. That's a little mean. Actually, your movies told me that's mean.
Yeah. Heck yeah. Your movies taught us that this is not the correct thing to do.
Yeah, that's
what a good
very
point.
Valid, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so my thought was that they might do something bigger, but you're saying that it's already... I didn't know that. I didn't know that they put something out saying that they're just going to have small displays. So that makes me think of what they do for Easter.
Yes, that's also what my first thought was. Because it's just a bunch of podiums that have these really beautiful, don't get me wrong. We enjoy seeing all of the creative works of art that are created by all of these culinary teams, all of the guest experience teams that create things for Disney Springs. We love that type of stuff.
Yeah.
We're obsessed with that.
Mm-hmm.
Now that
my problem with this is the tradition.
Can't replace.
Yeah.
You just can't replace the tradition.
Do you think it was really, really expensive?
It's expensive in terms of man hours because they spend something like 400 hours baking and 400 days decorating it or something insane like that. So it is really expensive in man hours, and maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why. I mean, again, not that that makes it okay to, take something away so ingrained in our holiday,
yeah, making a theme park costs money,
Yeah.
And it's Disney, so I know that times are tough. But
yeah,
surely we could shake out a couch cushion or two.
I was expecting more, not less.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
That's heartbreaking.
They've been competing pretty heavily with Universal opening Epic Universe. They're feeling the pressure to open a bunch of new stuff. Yeah. So to have this stuff roll out this week where it was like, we're closing down all this stuff. You know what I mean?
I know.
It's just surprising to me.
Maybe they are trying to deliver all the bad news at once type of thing. So
Rip the Band-Aid off.
Maybe that's the strategy. I'm not sure. Time will tell, I think, as we continue to see how guest response goes, how traffic flow is impacted, etc. Then, we'll see what changes and what stays the same. I think it's only a matter of time until we get a new piece of news.
Yeah, I would be surprised if some of this wasn't walked back.
Yeah.
Like the parking charge was walked back. But I don't know. You know what I mean?
I know, it's hard to predict. I'm hoping for that. And we are also happy to be part of, saying that we don't find this to be, from our perspectives, good for the guest experience. We know our clients, we know the convenience and the things that they enjoy. And having an interconnected world of experiences is a fantastic amenity at a Walt Disney World resort. And every chip away at that is impactful of the guest experience.
This was a pretty low, I just don't feel like this hack was hurting anybody. You know what I mean? Like, even, but whatever.
I agree.
I wouldn't be surprised if they kept the bus thing, but took away the boat.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because...
Well, yeah. Well, explain the reasoning behind.
Because keeping people off of the boat to go to Port Orleans it's not keeping them from getting money. Actually, if you keep people from going on the boat to go to Port Orleans, you're keeping people from going to Port Orleans to spend money. Like, yeah. I feel like that's the only reason that you would get on the boat to go over to Port Orleans. Like 95% of people that get on the boat from Disney Springs to go to Port Orleans are going over there to have a beignet or to look at the gift shops. You know what I mean? Maybe grab something food-wise while they're over there.
You were saying in addition to the resort guests who are going back and forth.
Yes. Yeah. Yes. If you're a non-resort guest that just wants to pop over to Port Orleans to check things out, you're probably going to go over there and spend some money. Right. If you're a person that's staying at an off-property hotel and then parking at Disney Springs and taking the bus to Magic Kingdom, then you're not there to spend more money. Mm-hmm. So I could see them looking at that as we're losing money by letting people do this, but I don't think that they're losing money by letting people take the boat to Port Orleans.
I don't think so.
Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
So that's why I think that one might get walked back, the boat. I do understand the bus thing, even though I don't love it. It just seems petty. That's exactly the way you put that. That's exactly, I think.
It's just very non-Disney.
I wouldn't actually go through the hassle because if I paid $200 for a park day, I'm going to want to be at the park at rope drop, which I don't even know if you could do that parking at Disney Springs and taking the bus over. Like, I don't even know if you could do it. Could you?
You might not get all of your days in park time, but I will reiterate that $100 in parking charges if you're someone who is staying at the All-Stars for your once-in-a-lifetime Walt Disney World trip, and you've already paid the theme.
Well, if you're staying at All-Star, then you get free.
You're right. You're staying off-site. That's right. That's the example we're going with.
Yeah.
If you're staying at an off-site resort, you paid your theme park tickets, you're paying to eat probably in the theme park because you're already there. After all of that money, $100 for parking is still a big deal.
Yeah.
To a lot of families.
No, yeah, for sure.
And a lot of families are using the Disney Springs shuttle situation in order to bypass $100 extra of parking per vacation.
Yeah.
Because this might be their only Walt Disney World trip. They're trying to do it while they can.
Right.
So the $100 is a big deal. Now, mind you, this is over half of Americans fall into this portion of the people attending Walt Disney World. Yeah. So they are a considerable portion of the income that Disney is receiving.
Yeah.
So by closing the loop there to demand them to pay the extra $100 fee, you are really sticking it to those people.
Yeah.
Hardcore. It's just unavoidable that you are taking away access to those people by doing this. And that is just a very un-Disney thing to do, just from a public relations standpoint. The headlines are bad, and this is like the 5th one in a row that they've gotten wrong.
Yeah.
And as a Disney fan, it's just a tribulation-filled time.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
rough week for sure.
Right, yeah, this has been a rough one, you guys. This has been a rough one. Bad news all around. Yeah. But hey, thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah, you're right though. They might have sandwiched all this bad news in between, because what happened last month? We got Muppets roller coaster. We got, you know what I mean?
Exciting announcements.
Yes. Yeah. Thunder reopened with Rainbow Caverns. Buzz reopened. Soarin's got a new thing. Yeah, there's all these new dance parties. It's like good news, good news, good news, good news, and then they're like, okay, 1 week of really bad news, and then but it will keep affecting people. And then maybe we've got some good news coming next month too. Yeah.
Maybe that is the strategy, to bury it in between the good stuff.
Yeah.
We'll let you know.
It is what it is. Yeah. Luckily, I'm really sad about the Gingerbread House too. I just can't. I can't imagine my Christmas without it. Can you?
Maybe the new one will be unexpectedly delightful.
Are we still getting the other ones? Because
I don't know anything about, like, you mean like Beach Club and all that?
I do. I
have no idea.
Because we were like slowly kind of increasing the gingerbread mania. I love that. Yeah. We have that moving carousel at Beach Club.
And that was insane.
Yes, there was the one at Contemporary. There's one at Animal Kingdom. That one is newer.
Right.
And so on and so forth. There's a bunch. Wilderness had one, right?
I think so, yeah.
I think so. So, like, we were, like, progressively adding, and
the
now,
chart, the graph
now
is
we're
going
taking,
up.
Now we're taking out the OG.
The best one.
Yeah.
I mean, the carousel does give it a run for its money, but it is by far the most steeped in tradition.
I hope the next announcement, although they would have probably wanted to do this at the same time, would be, here's this other Christmas extravaganza thing that we're going to have.
Right, because that's what they did with Muppet Vision 3D.
Yes!
They pulled the 1-2 punch.
Yes! Yeah. That's what they should have probably done.
I think so too.
When they did that, it was the same time, right? It was like in the same announcement.
That's
what worries me a little. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we haven't actually heard anything about the other gingerbread houses, so I assume they're still on.
We assume that they're still on. I would assume.
But they were all offshoots, in my opinion, of the Grand Floridian, which had all of the
I agree with
TV specials and everything.
Books, magazines.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yes.
Yeah, that's part of my childhood. And adulthood.
not to get too down.
No,
well, it is a bit of a shock to longtime fans. We're also, I think, fans not only of the history of the Grand Floridian, but we've seen so many things come and go. The original Birdhouse, the original Grand Floridian Society Orchestra that used to play, regular piano sessions in the lobby. We have seen all of these things.
Oh, the change at 1900. That was strange.
The shocking overhaul of 1900 character dining.
Yeah.
We've seen all of that happen at Grand Flo. There's been a ton of change, and this is a really big. We've even seen the addition of the DVC tower and the whole redoing of their top tier restaurant. Like, they've made a ton of changes at Grand Flo, and I've never felt as strongly about any of them as I feel about this Gingerbread House.
I feel a little robbed. Yeah. But I think that's because it was something for everybody. It was a Christmas thing for everybody. As recently as last year, my family comes in from all over. We live in a bunch of different places, and we did Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, which cost us a ton of money.
It's so expensive.
Yeah, we stayed at a Disney hotel, which cost us a lot of money. But they didn't. My family from other states didn't want to pay the money to do a bunch of different park days, so we did a couple of park days, and then one of the days we just did hotel. Like, let's go to the Grand Floridian and look at the Gingerbread House, and then let's go. And now we can't do that anymore. What?
Yeah.
For multiple reasons.
Yeah.
So
it's certainly much harder. There's a lot more logistical hoops to jump through. You got to start at a theme park, have somebody in your car who has an annual pass. There's just more hoops if you're not staying at the top tier resorts. Yeah.
And it was free.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is our downer episode.
Yeah.
Thanks for sticking with us.
Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people.
What do we have positive?
Similar.
We've got to end on something positive.
Well, we actually have a lot of really interesting updates coming to some of our attractions here at Walt Disney World.
Okay.
Including a certain Tomorrowland mainstay that we're also going to be discussing on the show soon.
We will discuss that on the show soon.
Or have already.
Oh, I did do the or have already.
Depending on time.
No,
oh no,
we will
right.
do it.
We will. Yeah, because this is breaking.
This is breaking news. We'll have to up this.
And
we're gonna have to bump some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's progress. I did Buzz Lightyear, the new.
You have?
I did it.
How was it?
See,
Are you a galactic defender?
Buzz Lightyear is not like our favorite ride. Okay?
No, we dog it regularly.
Yeah. You went there. Okay. Yeah. So when they redid it, we weren't like first in line to go check it out. Okay. We knew we would check it out, but we weren't like, oh my God, we have to go check this out.
Drop.
Right.
Yeah.
So it took a while and I just did it. And it was fine.
And that's our positive finale.
No, I will say I like the gun. So the gun is not like
right. You can take it out.
Yeah,
now.
it's still attached, but you can
You've got more range.
Yeah, you've got range.
Yes. Ranger. Space
Ranger
spin.
Yes.
I've seen video of it because I didn't really care about it, so I didn't mind being spoiled by it, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I will say I like the new first room.
Yeah.
They redid that first turning room.
Okay.
There's a new robot creature that instructs you how to do something. I don't know.
I missed that.
Okay. And then
I believe you, though.
They redid the targets as well.
Yes.
And I like the new target design. They're very cool.
Yes. And the way that the targets and the game operates is a little different now.
Oh, yes.
So, like, you have your one color and the person next to you is a different color. And then there's, like, a little bit of, like, feedback when you hit a target, which is really great. Because before, it was, like, kind of, you don't know if you were hitting anything or not unless you looked away from the target and looked down at your score. Mm-hmm. But now the feedback... I want to say it's like a vibration, but it might be a little noise.
In the gun?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And so...
Might be both.
And then you can see your color versus the person that's next to you, which is good.
Helpful, like Toy Story Mania.
Yes. So I do like that. I think it's a better game now. I think it's more fair now. It's a better experience.
People say it's harder now. Did you find that to be true? Harder to get Galactic Defender, I should say.
I think that those people that are saying it's harder knew there were targets that if you hit them that you would get like 1 billion points or whatever. Mm-hmm. But like, see, that's why I said it's more fair now.
Because there's less hacks.
Yeah,
that's fair. It's like a cheat code.
Yes, it's like a cheat code, and I was never. That's exactly what it's like. And when I was playing video games as a kid, I wasn't a cheat code kind of girl because I wasn't that invested. True. You know what I mean? I would play every once in a while.
You were honoring the intentions of the designers.
I wasn't like I know you
so
were.
You just didn't care.
No, yeah. I just was like, whatever.
Because who does? Who cares? I mean,
there's a lot of people that care. Yeah.
Straight men.
Straight men.
Yeah, it's fine. We don't have to talk about. I get what you mean. You were frustrated by the cheat code, sis.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, so you like spent all this time learning how to do a specific dance routine on your controller to learn.
It's desperate.
It's too much work. Like, I don't.
It's off-putting. It's desperate,
and it does feel like cheating.
Yeah.
And so that's how I felt about the people that were doing that with. I'm like, okay, I'm not that into it. That I'm going to learn where the specific places where you get all these tons of points are. So yes, it's harder for them. They're sunk back down to our level with no cheat code.
You have no pity.
I don't care at all. I think it's better for the average person.
Yeah.
And that's what we're about, right?
Yes, yeah. I agree. We were never getting Galactic Defender.
I've never gotten Galactic Defender.
I've never defended one galaxy.
Nope. They were always like, "You're fine."
Actually, we don't need. You're good. Did you want to go home?
Yeah, for both the Toy Story Mania 2, they're like, I don't know, I'm the cat. I'm the bottom of whatever the cat is. They're like, all right. I mean, you were here.
Yeah, you were on the ride.
You pressed the button or whatever.
That's how I feel doing any of those with my husband, because he's an avid gamer.
Yeah.
So he's just got the reflexes to hit the targets in a way that Morgan and I could never train for, even if it was Olympic level stakes.
No, it's like a part of their brain that like is activated. The mind's like, no, I don't.
Right. Ours is tap dancing in there. We don't. There's no. It's just filled by tap dancing.
Yeah.
So we never had a chance, so we don't care.
Right.
Really about the new.
We could choreograph a musical to go to for it. Yeah, no problem.
And will.
But finding that exact spot where you can get 1 billion points,
3 million points at the same time.
Nah.
But don't you want to be interplanetary?
I mean, I still lost, by the way. It was more fair, and I still lost. Oh,
that's right. Because now it's always been competitive in the car, and now it's like the two different colors you see at the end too.
Yeah.
You're like, yeah.
But anyway, so I will say that was a good. I think it was good, but not like mind blowing of a refresh.
Yeah,
the game is better. I thought for how long it was closed that they would have done more.
Yeah, I kind of was hoping for projection mapping technology to play a bigger role in.
I was hoping they'd just bring back Dream Flight. Just kidding.
Thank you guys so much for joining.
Yeah, that's fine. I get that.
You were like, yeah, actually, I'm good. You can end it. Thank you guys so much for joining us in this episode of Neverland Navigation Radio. If you would like to follow our antics on social media, you can do that by following us on Instagram at Neverland Navigo.
Yes, and we have an Etsy shop, Neverland Navigation. If you are wanting a custom theme park shirt, just go to Neverland Navigation on Etsy and send me a message and tell me what your favorite ride is, and I can send you some options like Delta Dream Flight if you're with me on that one.
Yeah.
Or if you're a Galactic, what did you say?
Defender?
Defender.
Is that what it was?
I can make you a shirt that tells everybody.
Yeah, do that. We're very busy because we're off to go make disappointing non-event gingerbread houses.
We're gonna have to make our own now. Yeah. We're going to make it in the backyard. It's going to be as big as a house. Watch me.
So, follow along for that. So, we'll see you
on our next event.